The 2018 NFL draft class is one of the most stacked first rounds we've ever seen. It produced guys like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Quentin Nelson, Roquan Smith, Fred Warner, who went third, Jaire Alexander, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and the list just goes on and on. This draft was so loaded that only 2 of the 32 players selected are in free agency as it stands right now. Today I'm going to be redrafting the top 10 picks of the first round with 2025 hindsight. Here is the criteria. First of all, I'm still drafting based on what the team needed at the time of the 2018 draft, so not drafting off of their current needs. Secondly, I'm drafting these players based off their careers thus far in the NFL, so obviously how much success have they had so far since being drafted? Did they remain on the same team? Did they make a Pro Bowl, an All-Pro, whatever it may be? All of that is being taken into account in this video. Enjoy. So jumping right into it with the first overall pick, the Cleveland Browns held this pick and they originally selected quarterback Baker Mayfield from Oklahoma. In the redraft, I'm going to have them select quarterback Lamar Jackson from Louisville. From last pick to first pick, this is a no-brainer to me. Lamar would absolutely go number 1 in a redraft, in my opinion. The only other selection here would maybe be Josh Allen, but personally, I like Lamar better as a player and feel like he's more efficient than Allen and has already won 2 MVPs to Allen's 1 MVP and kind of deserved the MVP over Allen just this past year. Especially if we're talking about hindsight, the Browns have to play Lamar 2 times a year currently. I think they would absolutely love to turn the tables on the Ravens and steal their franchise quarterback here at number 1 overall. Number 2 overall, the Giants originally selected running back Saquon Barkley from Penn State. In this redraft, I'm going to have them select quarterback Josh Allen from Wyoming. Another no-brainer here. Yeah, of course, the Giants could stick and pick here with Saquon again, but when you consider the horrendous years they've had with Daniel Jones and that his new contract could set them back a few years, I think they would absolutely look to avoid that here and select Josh Allen to lead their franchise. You get your franchise quarterback for years to come and become an instant playoff contender with an MVP candidate at quarterback every year. You just cannot put a price on that. At number 3 overall, the Jets originally selected quarterback Sam Darnold here from USC. Their redrafted pick for me is going to be Saquon Barkley. The talent is just undeniable here. The Jets have always lacked that true star offensively, and at pick 3 you're able to snag one of the best running backs in football currently. Sure, he deals with some injuries right out of the gate, but with the hindsight of 2025, you know that it is absolutely worth the wait as he becomes one of the few to ever rush for 2,000 yards in a season and becomes a future Offensive Player of the Year award winner. He would be too tempting here to pass up, on my opinion. At number 4 overall, the Browns originally selected corner Denzel Ward from Ohio State. The new selection will be Fred Warner, middle linebacker from BYU. I think there's absolutely no chance that if a redraft were to happen that Fred Warner would fall out of the top 5 picks from this draft. Warner is highly regarded as the best middle linebacker in the league currently, and when you've already selected Lamar in this scenario, why not also get the quarterback of your defense as well in a proven all-pro like Fred Warner? He originally went in the 3rd round. They had a hole back there in 2018 and still do as of 2025, so it makes all too much sense for Warner to be their selection here. At number 5 overall, the Denver Broncos originally selected Bradley Chubb, edge rusher from NC State, and the new selection here will be middle linebacker Roquan Smith from Georgia. Once again, it just makes too much sense. The Broncos were in need of a playmaker on the defensive side of the ball at this time, and who better at this point than a top 3 middle linebacker in the entire league? Him and Fred Warner could honestly be interchangeable, but personally, I'd give a slight edge to Warner for his pass coverage upside. Regardless, the Broncos get a playmaker on defense that Bradley Chubb never really turned out to be for them. At number 6 overall, the Indianapolis Colts originally selected guard Quentin Nelson from Notre Dame. In this redraft, I'm going to have them select guard Quentin Nelson from Notre Dame. I see no reason to change this pick, honestly. Nelson is consistently one of the best guards in football when he's healthy, and I highly doubt the Colts regret selecting him here with this pick, and if they could do it all over again, I don't see it changing. Yes, there's a lot of talent here, but the Colts got their anchor for their offensive line for years to come, and I see no problem with this selection. At At number 7 overall, the Buffalo Bills selected Josh Allen, the quarterback from Wyoming. With him already off the board at this point, I have them selecting Vita, defensive tackle from Washington. This one was really tough for me. They could have easily taken Baker Mayfield to replace Josh Allen, but the Baker resurgence just happened recently in Tampa, and there are some rough first couple years of his career that I don't think would be a top 10 selection worthy. They could have taken Minkah Fitzpatrick or Jesse Bates, but they already had Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer in their primes at this time in their career, and Vita just seems to make the most sense, as he may not be a perfect scheme fit, but he's one of the most dominant defensive tackles in the NFL and has anchored the Bucs defense since being drafted there. He's every defensive coordinator's dream, and it would be hard to pass up on him here at 7. At number 8 overall, the Chicago Bears originally selected middle linebacker Roquan Smith from Georgia. With him off the board, I have them selecting tackle Kolton Miller from UCLA. This one might surprise a few people, but it makes total sense to me. The Bears have struggled on the offensive line for years at this point. They can never find a consistent starter, especially at the tackle position, and any quarterback they put behind there has suffered because of it. Kolton Miller isn't a flashy name, but he's the definition of consistency and was rated as the 14th best tackle in the NFL to PFF. You build your offensive line and select somebody who you know is going to stay healthy and be a solid, stable starter for you for years to come. At number 9 overall, the 49ers originally selected Mike McGlinchey from Notre Dame. In this redraft, I have them selecting cornerback Jaire Alexander from Louisville. The Niners secondary at this point was so bad. They had 30-year-old Richard Sherman exiting his prime and Akello Witherspoon as their primary corners. They absolutely needed an upgrade, and Jaire Alexander has been considered one of the top corners in the league since his entry. He was recently released by the Packers because of health issues, but the Niners were a team that was getting ready to compete and make a Super Bowl appearance in 2019. Having Jaire Alexander in the secondary could have very well pushed them over that hump and maybe even won them that Super Bowl. And finally, at pick 10 overall, the Arizona Cardinals originally selected Josh Rosen with this pick. So instead of making a generational mistake like that again, I have them selecting Minkah Fitzpatrick, safety from Alabama. The Cardinals had a 34-year-old Antoine Bethea as their starting safety at this point, so it was a clear hole for them. Pairing up Minkah Fitzpatrick and Budda Baker would make the best safety duo in the league and give their defense that much-needed push they were so desperate for. But frankly, anything is better than selecting Josh Rosen here. If you want to see me do this again or finish the rest of this draft, let me know and I'd be happy to continue. Thanks for watching.